What's up, y'all? We're gonna do a watch list video basically for early September. So what I would say is charts could be blown up by tomorrow, being that we have NFP data that comes out. This is the jobs data, monthly jobs data comes out tomorrow morning. And we're gonna go into a short week, being that we're closed Monday for Labor Day, and then the market reopens on Tuesday. So I think this watch list video should get you through, honestly, probably the next week, or at least for a few days. Right now, we're gonna start with the S&P 500, and then we're gonna look at a few other tickers that I like. So the first thing first, I believe that we can start to fill this gap so long as 448 holds. At the bare minimum, you gotta hold 444. Preferably, you honestly just hold 450. I would really like that. But ultimately we need to reclaim this area that we've talked about several times coming into this. So the S&P 500 spot is just that simple. Reclaim 452. Let's call it 452. Reclaim that, and you can start to push higher into that gap. Going to our next setup that I like. I really like Amazon or AMD. We'll actually talk about Amazon too. AMD is probably going to be a setup of the month, to be honest. Basically, what you got right here, call it a triangle. Triangle got to break at some point. That's looking like it could be sometime soon as we near this apex. That's like really the only use I get out of like chart patterns, is basically helping me know when a stock might break. But I mean, you'll see it in the price action. Most of the time, you'll see it in the price action regardless. So right now, AMD is technically holding these retests, and it has not taken out this support area. So being that we're still holding basically that 100 psychological level, I think you can honestly start to push to take out some of these highs. Now this would be like a super long term, well, I can say super, but probably like a month or two to be talking about 119, 120. But this month, I think you can definitely get to 111 if you continue to hold the 100 psych. So I'm gonna go to the lower time frame to show you guys something that I'm looking at, and then we're gonna actually back out and go pretty far back. If you look at this, you might recall this looks just like how SPY looked a couple days ago, when we were talking about how you had a resistance point that you broke through, and you're coming back to retest it and hold it. If this holds, you are at the least likely to make a move back to these highs. If you clear these highs, then you're bound to make a move into that 110 area. Now, I'm gonna say, I really don't want to say 109 to 111.5, but I'm gonna say somewhere up in here. Call it 110, the 110 cycle, and you obviously could go as high as this. This is a short-term trade. Obviously, longer term, if this breaks, then you're gonna be looking at this regardless. But as far as a short-term, more immediate move, that I'm gonna say 110, because that's the safest bet to say. That's if all of this plays out. And call it 105 continues to hold. So let's back out now and look at why I'm actually bullish on this for a bigger move. If we take a look at, I might have already taken it off, basically our volume profile. So I'll take it off and put it back on, just kind of so you can see how, you put it on. It's pretty simple. So I go to my tools, I find my anchored volume profile, I pick a point. You can choose any point that you deem important. I deem all-time highs to be important. So I plot it there and I say, okay, what does this look like? Basically, what I'm seeing right now, as you guys can now see, AMD is a little bit tough to see. I'll probably go back to the weekly, but whatever, I'll just show you like this for now. AMD has a low volume area right here. So if let's plot a point so you can see where the low volume area kind of is in relation to the current price. So those two lines that I just put there are showing you where the low volume area is at. If this area continues to hold, you're gonna get a strong move off of it, because the only other option is that you just dump straight through the low volume area. You feel what I'm saying? So I think AMD can give us a nice move, being that we have all of these things going on right now. And I'm inclined to lean bullish as long as 105 is holding. You need to clear that resistance on the lower time frame that we talked about. And here's a look at AMD on the weekly, just so you can see the volume profile a little bit better. And to be honest, if you just look at the price action, you've been basically consolidating and pulling back very, very orderly. So it hadn't been anything crazy. Now, when AMD first broke down back in June, I want to say this was probably the last time I traded AMD, at least with size, if I recall correctly. But basically, if this breaks, then you want to get through all of this volume. I'll go back to what I was saying in a second. And you want to push into this lower volume area up near 120. That's your next low volume area. But hold this low volume area and you can make that happen. So what I was saying was, the last time I traded AMD was back in June. I actually shorted it because what we had was basically just this. It was a gap fill, but it was like a distribution type of setup. So you had basically a range right here, and I shorted it because we have. Why did I guess because we broke support there. But I want to say I actually got in earlier, or did I not? Maybe I planned on getting in here, but I didn't because we were still in the range and I was waiting. I think I did just wait until we got down here. So once that broke, I shorted AMD down. I think this was the day that I exited my short. So I got out like at a really good time. And since then, it's basically just been quick trades here and there, nothing too crazy. But, I like to catch these strong moves. I like to wait for, momentum or price to consolidate and get tight before I trade it. So I think AMD can make another strong move pretty soon if we can hold that low volume area and move higher. I really like this stock. Like, this is actually one stock that I really, really, really do like. So speaking of being compact and tight, Chevron, I don't know what is going on here. Some days I'm bullish, some days I'm bearish, but a stock. So let me just backtrack. Back around here, I was saying, okay, you hold below 160, you're going back to the bottom of the range. Short it, be aggressive. But price just hadn't really been any clean trades. Like, yeah, you could have swung a short and actually got to the bottom of the range out here, but who is holding through all like this for that long? I'm not gonna do it. So now I'm looking at price. You got an inside bar, and if you go down to the lower time frame, I think this can give you at least a good scalp. You just have it's tested this 161 area so many times, and it's pressing up on it, and it's tight, it's close. I think you can probably make a move here closer to 162. And obviously, if you clear those highs, then you got room to run back to the top of the range. Now, whether that happens, I really have no idea. But I think this is probably a shoe in. Now, will I trade it? I don't know. It just depends on how the morning opens. This is kind of a back burner type of trade. It's not that I dislike trading CVX, but it's just not the contrast can move a little bit funny. So if I do trade it, probably be super light size, and it won't even be like a focus. So that's that with CVX. That's just super tight consolidation that looks like it just needs to break at some point or another. Amazon, I think Amazon. Honestly, I didn't even know this. I somewhat like Amazon. I don't dislike Amazon, but it does move when it's moving slow. It's moving super slow, and it can be hard to really catch momentum with that one. But basically, once you clear these highs, you got a pretty nice breakout. It's the same stuff over and over, y'all. So you clear those highs, and you come back and retest it, and then you bounced. But unfortunately I didn't see this until like the very end of the day, so I wasn't able to even catch that bounce today. I traded SPY anyway. I had made some nice. I traded SPY IWM actually. I'll get to IWM in a second. So you hold 137, and basically you need to clear 139. And if you clear 139, you're bound to make a move higher. Call it 140.3 up to this area. And I mean, obviously you can continue much higher after that. If you look at AMD on the daily, Amazon on the daily, you kind of have a similar double bottom type of look. So your target would be right where we just talked about. So as long as you hold that neckline, so if Amazon can come down, this will be a really low risk entry if you can get in right here, but who knows if that'll happen. You might have to just wait for the break. But like I said, this one, if it gets stuck, it could just start doing some crazy stuff and then decide whether it wants to break or flush back through the neckline. After a certain amount of time, the analysis just becomes invalid because now you got new price action to consider. But going into these next few days, I think you have a pretty good chance to catch something clean with Amazon. So Meta, or Facebook, yeah, you see I already drew that and posted it to the Discord. I haven't traded this stock in a little while, so I can't really say I have a feel for it. But you can see it has the same double bottom type of look, but it has yet to clear that neckline. It just hasn't cleared resistance. If it can clear resistance, call it the 300 psych, 301.10 was the high today, so call it 301.10. Then you can make a move up here to that 307 area. If we look at, let me get rid of this so we can just kind of look at it like we need to. This is a little bit of a channel, and as you guys know, I don't really care much about chart patterns and all that kind of stuff, but it's easy to see, it's easy to use this for visualization to just show that price is moving higher. So the burden of proof is on the bears. So I can't really say I'll be looking to short this, but if we were to get a nice little gap up tomorrow and you gap up above 299, then you're probably going to have a good chance to get back to those highs. And again, like we said, if you can actually clear, that is lopsided, as I guess it wasn't too lopsided. Basically, whatever. Y'all see what I'm saying? If you can clear that, remember that's your trigger for the bigger breakout if you can stay above that. So if you do get above that, that's your first target, which is good for a scalp at least. But then you can take that much higher up to this area that we talked about on the higher time frame, the daily time frame. You honestly probably want to trim some here, to be honest. But just because if this happens on a Friday, you don't want to be too, exposed going over the weekend unless you just like super long term and really confident and like the price action. So I said that I would start redoing videos on IWM if we cleared 190. You can see today is just one example of many. You look at SPY and QQQ. If we look at SPY and QQ, or let's just look at SPY versus IWM, you can see here, IWM is still at that midsummer pivot, and it is refusing to break. What happens tomorrow? Don't know. But you see when SPY got there, First of all, SPY done already been there twice this month. IWM is just now getting it for the first time. SPY came through. This was the first time we rejected, like we anticipated it would be a rejection. We rejected, and then it came through and it burst right on through. IWM, I guess technically 2 days now, is here, and it hasn't done anything like decisive. Granted, I did trade IWM and had some really good profit on that. Some decent profit, I would say. I did trade it, but it was like, not to sound greedy, but I just expected more. Not even more money, to be honest, like just more out of the trade. Like, it's always just doing something crazy. And like, I don't hate IWM, but it just don't move the same. So whatever. I say all that to say, if you can finally clear this pivot, you got room to 192. And like we said before, back in this area, we talked about this in the previous video. If you don't clear this pivot, then it's right back down. And like I said, if you flushed 180 support, you're going back to the low 170s, 160s. Which one happens? I don't know, because IWM could also just do this. It is known, IWM is notorious for just going sideways. So I wouldn't even be shocked if this is what happened. But basically right now you're at a point where it has to make a move. And like we talked about before in the previous video, if this is topped out, then I mean, it ain't too many places for this to go. So I'm not too pressed on trading this, but if the market starts to move aggressively, then this is a nice name to keep on watch. I think it'll be good to keep this as like a when I want to be heavy long, but I don't want to just be in SPY, then I might say, you know what, let me mess with the small cap today, take a little shot. That's kind of my take a shot type plan. Either to be QQQ or the small caps, but QQQ, I've already taken a shot there, so I'm kind of just looking for something different. QQQ worked out pretty nicely. I guess we can talk about this one while we're here too. This one, I actually went long on QQQ right here and rode it all the way up to 373 like I said I would. And to be honest, I probably, not even that I wanted to hold, but by this point, I was back focused on SPY, because SPY is the one I trust the most. So this is when SPY was breaking 444, so I was already loaded in SPY. QQ was kind of just the extra thing. I had some extra cash, so I was like, well, I don't really want to add to SPY because I'm already loaded there. So let me just be a little different, and went with QQQ. I think QQQ probably has been outperforming just a little teeny bit, just because it is already back inside of the gap. So the gap for QQQ is right here. There's a lot going on in this, so you can hardly see it, but there's the gap. So QQQ is already testing its gap. And that is also one piece that is leading me to believe that SPY will at least, I think it did tag like 453 it got really close to 453 in the pre-market today. But QQQ is an indicator that SPY should probably tag its gap. But it don't really work like that for IWM. IWM might just might go down. Why SPY and QQQ up 1%? Who knows? IWM does what it want to do, but SPY and QQQ, I can typically build some type of divergence theory with them. So if QQQ was looking stupid bearish today, but SPY was kind of flat, I'd be like, okay, yeah, SPY probably finna fall. But we just play our levels and still respect price action regardless of what the divergence theory was showing us. But QQQ is also a reason why I believe AMD can break out. See, forgive me for this, because for some reason when I load up a second chart, it just shows me like every level that I ever marked, but obviously my chart don't really look like that. But with AMD, QQQ moving higher, Nvidia is tagging highs consistently over and over, I think you have a strong case for AMD to break out. And basically with NVIDIA, you now want to work any theory you have around this gap. Either this gap fills, or I'll say either it fills, it holds, and you keep, you can play a range until it breaks. One of them has to happen, but basically just use that as your support. And I would say the top of your range just kind of needs to be there at what was the highest point, and now it is closing at all-time highs. So this is a good one to watch. I did want this gap to fill, and honestly, I wanted to press into this gap, and I thought we would, but obviously, if you never get back below support, then the theory is now invalid. Oh, I guess we'll do another one. Walmart just going crazy. This did really well today, but if you can clear 163, you'll be making new highs, and this name is one to just run and run and run. So, worth a watch, man. I can't really tell you how far it'll go, but it's looking like it want to do some damage, because this will be all-time high. I mean, it is at all-time high. So this is when you want to start pulling out like your fib extensions just to help you. So, I honestly don't even know where I would take them from now. I think you would say, I guess you do it like this. This would be your first point. This is where the rally started. The last rally really started. That was the high point. This is where your pullback went. And I mean, look like 169. That's your golden level. That's 6.18 point, or 0.618, however you want to look at it. So you kind of say, well, honestly, my trigger was here. I didn't take it, again, because I was focused on SPY. I can't take them all at once. But I had told the group, if this gets back above old all-time highs from months ago, years ago, then you were going to make a move back at least here. And it is looking pretty strong today. It is up, 0.87%, while SPY was just down 0.15%, which is nothing drastic or crazy, but show some strength. And to be honest, I don't care what it is. I'm not taking a breakout after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days up, but these candles are strong. So what I will say is, if you can get a pullback in here, that's your lower risk entry. And I honestly would be focused on playing leaps, because I don't trust individual tickers. And there's always some random news coming out, especially for individual tickers. So I will be looking to play it like that. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty dope. Walmart is a pretty dope setup to watch. So you got a lot of stuff to watch, and this will probably be unless something crazy happens. This will probably be it for me for a little while, publicly at least. I think I've given you guys a lot of really, really, really good information. So, the past 2-3 weeks or so, I kind of have been giving you guys how I lay it out for the group, really, week in and week out. So of course, if you enjoy content, consider joining the stock mentorship program. The description to that, I'm putting in the links of these YouTube videos, but you can also find them to the link, or you can also find the link in my Instagram bio at 6fatdaddy9. So that's it from me. Make sure you like and subscribe. Turn on notifications. Probably be a little while before I see you guys again. Maybe I'll get bored and excited, super excited, and post a recap or something. Maybe that's what I'll do. But these watch list videos can be it can be a lot, because you gotta update people. So I hate putting stuff out there and not being able to update. But I think going forward, as long as I do it how I've been doing it and give you guys a good stop and good place to say, okay, well, this is when it's invalid, then I think we are. And I'll just show you guys my IWM trade. I actually think I closed this out. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm tripping. Yeah, I about to say it was 300 something for the day because I got in yesterday at like 1.3 per contract, and then I added. I think I had got 10 at 1.3, and I buy like 7 more at like 1.1. I think they dropped as low as 1.0. I said to use a 10 to 15% stop, and I just decided to add because I was thugging it. That was kind of my shot for the week. I usually take one shot a week. I don't know if I did 7 and 7 or if I did 7 or 10 and 4. I don't know what I did, but I know I added. I had to add at some point because I ended up selling at like 1.35 or like 1.39 when I just entered at like 1.3. So I had to have added a decent chunk at like somewhere around 1.1, but I ended up selling for like 12%. So that was a pretty good trade, and I'm really glad I got out because I had September 6th contracts, and look how this finished. Like I closed that right at 190, like right at the high of the day, or right near the high of the day. So very happy with that. And like I told you guys, I don't know if what this is gonna do up in here. So you just got to get out, and it's okay to not know what the market like. So, like I told you guys coming into this week, after this pullback, I didn't know what was going to happen. I had to wait to see all of this price action before I could come up with another theory. Look at AMD. There hasn't been one single day where I could say, yeah, I think AMD is going to do this because since basically June 23rd, that's been the last time I could say with any type of degree of certainty what AMD was going to do. And even when earnings came, I was like, yeah, I don't know what it's going to do. Like, let's just wait and see. And even after the earnings did come and we see this crazy bearish candle, I'm like, yeah, I don't even know if I really like trust that. Look what happens. It pulls back into that 119 area. Then it's like, okay, well, you're probably thinking, oh, yeah, let's watch for a breakout. But I'm still saying, yeah, I don't like this price action. I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm not spending time on AMD. I'm not worried about it. I have had no alerts really set on it. And I think I said something about it earlier this week because if the market was going to continue down, then I'm like, if AMD can't reclaim this, remember I said in that video that if AMD could not reclaim this, then it was going to push back lower. Look what it's doing. It's trying to reclaim it. Like we looked at it on the lower time frame. Like it's there. Like this is it. So like I said, I really like AMD now. Like now that I see price action, I can say that, okay, I actually like this setup because now I know I have an idea of what could happen, and I have a good entry and a good stop loss. So that's just the game. That's just how I go. And like I said, if you guys enjoy this stuff, definitely make sure you like this video so you can see more content like it. And I'll know that you guys do enjoy the content, and I can continue to make more. I can probably get on a more regular schedule. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. You do want to have notifications on for when I do make videos. And of course, every single day, we in the Discord. So if you want to join the stock mentorship program, I have private videos like this. I have deeper private videos. I have deeper watch list videos, all kinds of stuff like PowerPoint presentation, all that good stuff. So that's it, man. That's everything. You guys enjoy this content, and I'll catch y'all later.